What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another fantastic boot review. This is the Puma Future Z 1.3. All right, fam, so here they are in the typical red Puma box. Now, a couple things before we hop into the unboxing. The Puma Future Z or Z 1.3 is something that I am very excited for. I was very excited about 1.1 and 1.2. Those were both very, very good football boots. I tried going half a size down because they felt a quarter size long, but it seems like the reviewers on YouTube and online and some of the soccer.com people who I've talked to say that these fit just about true to size, maybe a little bit tiny long, but not as long as the 1.1s and 1.2s did. That just might be a subjective thing, but I'm really hoping so because I think these remind me a lot, and the construction reminds me a lot of the Magista Obra ones, which were one of my favorite boots ever, as well as the Phantom Venom, or not Phantom Venoms, the Hyper Venom 3s, and especially the DF and the low cut version. So a full knitted upper with that mesh forefoot, yada yada, which we'll get into later. This is the second generation of the Fusion Fit Plus band, which we'll also get into later and talk a little bit about what the differences are. But yeah, I'm very excited for these, and these could potentially be a fantastic addition to the playing rotation, which has only been one boot recently, and that is the Tiempo Legend 9 Elite. Those have been my go-to boots. I've been wearing them for every training session, but I am very excited to try these on because I do really like a knitted football boot. I think they fit really well, and unlike leather, they allow like a 3D stretch or four-way stretch, which is awesome. So typical to the Puma brand, you get just a standard red Puma box with the logo here. These are in a size 9 US. I decided to go 9 US instead of an 8.5 just to see if the normal true to size would fit well. These retail for $200, which is a fantastic price for a top-end football boot. It's something that Nike and Adidas should definitely take notes on. Everything else about this box is pretty standard except for the size conversion and sizing chart, which I think is super cool on the back. Yeah, super cool. Okay, so let's open these up, see what they look like. These are in the launch colorway, which is the orange, black, and a little bit of white. Oh, these are really cool looking. Okay, so here we go. And right away, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, so let's take a moment for me to express that we are 3 seconds into this unboxing. Look at that. This EvoKnit in the front, this EvoKnit Pro, is some of the softest material I have felt in the forefoot of a boot. It's like they're already, it literally feels like they're already broken in. That's insane. We'll take this plasticky out and we'll get these unboxed really quick. So I'll take this other one out while I'm chatting to you. So a couple of the updates to the 1.3 that are different from the 1.1 and 1.2. It's got a slightly updated construction. You've got a little bit of a different, you've got the second generation of this Fusion Fit Plus band, which is sort of the main attraction of this boot. This boot is actually said to be able to be worn laceless if that is something you enjoy doing it. I know Marco Reus used to wear the Future, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the name of them now, but they're pink and yellow split half and half. Let me know down in the comments below which ones those are. I think 6.1 maybe, Future 6.1. Anyway, bottom line is he wore those laceless, and it is something that I think they took ideas from his playing style and his sort of desire to play with a laceless football boot from Puma into consideration. You can definitely use the laces, and they recommend you use the laceless, but you don't have to. It's supposed to be such a good fit and such a customized fit already, an adaptable fit when you put your foot into this boot, that it is totally suitable to wear laceless, which is kind of interesting. I don't think I would do that because it does have laces. Like, why not use them if they're gonna give you better lockdown? But again, no stress there. As far as weight goes, I'm holding it in my hand, and these are actually pretty lightweight. Like, for a boot that's supposed to be meant for control, obviously Neymar wears these, and a couple other really high-profile players that they've got on their lineup. It definitely is a boot that is light enough, I think, for most people not to worry about it. That is something that I get oftentimes, like, I want the lightest boot because I'm really fast. first of all, the boots don't make you faster. They just are a tool to help you do the things that you want to do on the pitch. So that is something to keep in mind as well. I'm not a huge fan of orange, I gotta say. I'm not a huge fan of this colorway, but an all black pair of these is hopefully on order. We'll see if I actually decide. It depends on how the on feet portion of this video goes. If these are as comfortable as I think these are gonna be, I might order the all black ones to actually play in. And then those super crazy special edition, like black and white, 3D wild color, like pre-launch ones, I might try to get my hands on a pair as well, because those are sick looking. The orange, they're okay. Anyway, but as far as looks goes, it's very similar to the old Future. Again, you've got that forefoot that comes from kind of here, this mesh Evo Knit Pro that goes all the way forward. You've got the Fusion Fit band, and then you've got a pretty standard knit collar here that goes, actually probably my favorite height of any knit boot that I've seen in the past. I think this, it's a little bit different construction than the old one. It looks a little more reinforced than the 1.2s, but these are definitely, I think, the best height. So they're not too high, and they're also not as low as something like, say, a Hypervenom 3, which I really like. I like the low cut, but if I'm gonna have sort of a little bit higher, I'd like it to be like this, where my ankle still is outside of the knit area, which I think is really fantastic. So that's something to keep in mind in this Future Z 1.3. You've got the Puma logo in silver on the back, the silicone coating that goes over the whole upper part of the boot is really interesting, and here's why. So on the back, you see that there's a line that goes back sort of down this direction. So the silicone coating covers everything down here, and then the silicone coating follows my finger line here. So this middle mesh area is really, really flexible. So it really allows, I think, and this is the idea with these yarns that almost resemble Flywire from Nike. Very, very similar concept. So you're supposed to have these yarns that go all the way across to really hold you down into the boot, that allow a little bit less stretch than the rest of this knit upper, but the rest of this knit upper is just supposed to be super free, super 3D stretchy, super, you know, 4-directional. It'll stretch any type of way and really make room for your feet, which I think is a huge positive for wide-footed players in something like a Future Z, which is an awesome pair of football boots. And I think Puma did such a good job making a incredibly, I mean, look at this, like that's insane. That's insane. Like no other top end boot has this. And on the inside, you can feel there is a little bit of padding on that forefoot area. So you do get a little bit more of a cushioned feel, is my guess, on the ball. So they're not a speed boot, super soft and crazy like an X Speedflow 0.1, which is incredibly soft. You get that as a knitted upper, which I think is super impressive, and you get a lower break-in time and all of that. So that's something that I think is super unique about the Future Z 1.3. Incredibly comfortable, I think. We'll see how it goes, but my guess is these are going to be, given what the reviews are saying, these are one of the most comfortable boots that anyone's ever tried right out of the box. And if that is the case, I think these will be a fantastic addition to the playing rotation. So you've got a dynamic motion system Soleplate. That is this kind of the Z, let's see, this way. So yeah, perfect. Z, which you kind of can see in the Soleplate. Basically what that is just a stiffer material right in that midfoot area to allow for a little more stiff lift and snapback when you are pushing off with these boots. So when you do hit the ground and you push off, you've got a little bit more energy return with that stiffer piece, that dynamic motion system piece right here in the middle. As far as the Soleplate goes, pretty standard, and it looks exactly the same. I'm sure there's a little bit of differences in reinforcement and stuff, but this is marketed as an AG/FG boot. So they don't actually make an AG boot. I'll be back in one moment. Hello?
Hey, Noah, it's Rick at Camera.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Good. So I wanted to update you on the lens
Uh-huh.
that you ordered. So best case scenario would be Friday.
Okay.
It could be Monday, Tuesday, though, too.
Okay, perfect. So within, 2 weeks maybe.
Like it, yeah.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I hope you have a good evening.
Yeah, you as well. All right, bye. All right, and we're back. So what I was saying about the AG FG is this is marketed as an FG/AG plate, and so they don't actually make an AG specific version of this boot. They basically market this as, hey, you can use this on AG pitches and FG pitches, which from a marketing perspective is bloody brilliant from the Puma brand. Well done. The Soleplate, in my perspective, reviewing both the 1.1 and the 1.2s, those reviews you can go check out. I've done both of those, and it looks the exact same. Again, as I said before, there might be some minor changes to this, but they are mostly like half moon shaped. So they're studs that look kind of like this, and they're conical, but basically split in half is what it is. So it's going to be very neutral. There's going to be a lot of good rotational capability with this type of boot, especially when you're on your toes. That's something that a lot of people really find hard when you've got a bunch of chevron studs, which are the ones that are like this. So that's mostly the boots. The Furon has those, Vapors have those. There's chevron studs on the Speed Flow, and I'm trying to think of one other. Oh, and I guess the Puma Ultra. So all of the speed boots tend to have the chevron studs because they're much more aggressive. These are much more of a holistic feel, so they'll be much more like a Tiempo or much more like something perhaps like a Predator or something like that, that are a little less aggressive, but they'll still feel like they stick into the ground as much as you need them to, which is really cool. Laces, kind of no BS, very basic. The lacing hole system is really interesting, actually. It looks like it's a bunch of threads that have been woven around a little bit higher than the upper materials, and then you lace the laces kind of through those series of holes, which is kind of an interesting touch, which is really cool. So anything else about the not the Ultras, the Future, excuse me, that you guys might want to know, leave down in the comment section below. Oh, here we go. So insoles, and I love that Puma does this. So you've got this, I don't think there's any chrome. Oh, there's chrome on the back, so I guess it's one of those very typical stickers that says the chrome finish will wear off, and all that stuff, which is totally fine. But one thing that I think the Puma brand does really well is these are an insert that are super thin. It's a very thin foam insert that's got the Puma logo right here and some yellow stippled foam, which I'm sure makes it like 25% lighter or whatever. The cool thing about this though is this is what they call a nano grip technology insert. So this insert actually has grip elements, like it's much more grippy than a normal insert is, which I think is just a super cool thing. And so what it does is if you're wearing normal socks, it's gonna actually feel more grippy on the inside than another pair of football boots. Obviously not from the Puma brand, but you get the idea. And then the idea is that if you put grip socks with an insert like this, the nano grip technology, this was the same technology that I had in the Puma Ultras that I wore in Australia for half a season. Those were amazing, and it locks in your foot like I have never felt. Like it's crazy the difference. And when you rub your finger along the inside of this insert, you'll be like, okay, I can tell it's a little bit grippier, but all of that little stuff over the course of the entire surface area of the bottom of your foot actually makes a massive difference, which is super cool. And it's awesome that they incorporate it in their football boots. I think it's something that Nike and Adidas should have done years ago. Mizuno has something similar to that in the Morelia Neo Beta 3s, but I don't think any other brand does that, at least not to my knowledge. And it's just a tiny little thing that they added to this boot just to make it that little bit extra better than the competition. So let's talk about competition. So this sort of is in a league of its own just because of the price. It's at $200 US, but I would say, at least in the boots that I've reviewed recently that sort of compete with this from the control part of it, or from kind of a knit boot. I mean, your Tequila maybe, it probably competes with Tequila. The new Predator definitely, because it's also like a knit upper. I think that's it. I mean, there's not many more. I'm trying to think of things that I haven't thought of, like boots that I haven't thought of yet. But as far as like just a nice control boot, those are kind of the two. And I will say, if you compare this to a Predator Edge plus 0.1 high, low, it doesn't matter, just in the hands, these boots, as far as softness and what it looks like in comfort, absolutely blow the Predator out of the water. The Tequila, the new one, so the V3 Plus, I think it is, the version 3, but the new version 3 is a great pair of football boots. I thought it was nice. It just didn't have that lockdown. They were the laceless ones. They didn't have the lockdown that I was looking for, even though they are plenty wide enough, and they did actually feel really nice. They had like a really nice sensation on feet. This might be the perfect knit boot, and I'm really excited to try these on feet, because I think it would absolutely blow the Tequila out of the water. And I think they should, just because New Balance is not the same caliber of football boot company that Puma is. And if my eyes are correct, this boot will absolutely blow the Predator, both the Plus and the 0.1, out of the water. So I'm very excited. Without further ado, guys, let's hop into the on-feet portion and field test of the Future Z 1.3s. All right, fam, so here we are with the Puma Future Z 1.3s. I am very excited to try these on. They are so soft, just like untying them and getting them out of the box right here behind the camera. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to try these on, try these out on the pitch, see how they feel, and get a sense of whether or not these would be boots that I would wear. I did have really good reviews of the 1.1 and 1.2s. I thought they were great boots. I just thought they fit a little bit long, and then they weren't as flexible as they needed them to be in the midfoot, especially on the wide areas where my foot is really wide. So if this boot does that for me, we'll see how it goes. I'm not wearing grip socks right now. I'm wearing a pair of plain white sort of athletic socks, basically. So keep that in mind as you are listening to what I'm saying about the fit of these boots. So we'll try these, we'll get these on right away. Oh my goodness. Oh, these are so nice. Wow. Okay, these fit actually quite a bit different, or not maybe not tons different, but they definitely fit different than the 1.1 and 1.2s. This heel liner is insanely comfortable. Okay. So right away, without the laces tied, and again, as I mentioned before in the unboxing portion of the video, these are marketed for, like, you can wear them without laces. So that's essentially what I'm doing right now without the laces tied. They're a little loose. They still, like, my heel is locked in. I don't have any heel slippage. I don't think I'd wear them without the laces, just because I don't like that kind of boot. If it's a laceless boot that's been built as a laceless boot, fantastic. These though, I'd rather do the laces. So let's get them tied up and we'll see how we go. I'm gonna tie them tight so that they, as if I was going to play in them. And I can definitely feel that Fusion Fit band wrapping my foot with the help of the laces. The way these are, the way the lacing holes are, it really gives you some good, oh my goodness, guys. Okay, so there is about a quarter, maybe a little bit less than a quarter size, maybe a fifth of a size, or even less, a sixth of a size, if that's even a thing. That's on a little bit on the toe area. I'm sure that'll break in as time goes on, but I can already feel it's just a tiny bit long as far as I'm concerned. I know most boots, for most people, have a tiny bit of space at the end, even if it's just like just an absolute, you know, fraction of an inch. There they are tied, and oh my goodness, like, I have no hot spots right now. I have no points in the boots where I feel weird about the fit, or there's, you know, again, no hot spots. These are fantastic how comfortable they are. The front of the boot already feels like it's broken in. The Fusion Fit band feels so good, and the heel liner is really padded. It's a suede liner. as you guys saw in the unboxing portion, and it feels so good. The responsiveness of the Soleplate is very adequate. Like, it's not anything crazy, but it's also nothing to write home about. But again, I like this Soleplate a lot because it is an AG/FG, and for those of us who play at a professional level or a college level or even a club level on turf and grass pitches, this is something that could be really helpful. Touch on the ball is so one-to-one. It's such a nice soft touch. Gosh, man, guys, these are so nice. I love how these fit and feel. The width is perfectly suitable for me as a wide-footed player. And yeah, these definitely might be a boot that I try actually even tomorrow maybe before training. Again, as I said, I'm not really a huge fan of the orange, but I definitely wouldn't mind if I like wearing these. I'll totally wear them. I don't have a problem with it. But if I do end up liking these, I will probably get the all black ones because I think all black boots just look super sick. But that is, gosh, these are so comfortable. Already my toes starting to push into the front as my foot kind of breaks down the width. So I don't think the length should be an issue at all, which is an awesome thing for me. I love the fact that these are a knit boot because I think it allows you to have that 3D stretch without losing a lot of the tension and a lot of basically when leather gets overstretched, there's no way to tighten it back up. With the synthetic knit material, it can stretch, but then it always goes back to the original shape once you take your foot out of it. So that is yeah, goodness gracious. These are I'm really impressed with how comfortable they are. They've totally outdone themselves with this variation. The 1.3 is definitely an upgrade. This is probably what the 1.2s should have been because there was really no difference between the 1.1s and the 1.2s. So that's something that, I don't know, like for me, these should be considered the 1.2s. And then we'll see obviously what the next generation will be in 6 months to 8 months time. But Puma, hats off to you. You did very good. This is a fabulous pair of football boots. It is so comfortable right out of the box, and it is absolutely a pair of boots that I will be checking out for training on a regular basis. And we'll see if they make a feature or a debut in a game. So that's it for the video. That's it for the review of the Puma Future Z 1.3s. If you guys enjoyed that video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, if you're not part of the fam. Would love to have you. And as always, guys, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.